State University in the athletic department. We're back here today down here on floor level in the Waco Center for the Coaches Show. And our guest in this segment is head men's and women's track and cross country coach Dan Meyers.
Good to see you, Coach.
Hey, great to see you. Great to back into another competition week this week. Squad going up to Carnegie Mellon. I know the historic course up there at Sinley Park doesn't have the hills the size of ugly that you're going to see, but a steady diet of up and down historic course. What are you looking for this week?
I just think the group being able to handle, the last few weeks of big volume that we've had, see how they come out and race as we're going to kind of swing down in distance in the next few weeks in terms of the volume. Just some more consistency. I think that we've seen in the workouts on the men's and women's side, we've been a lot closer, and we've got to continue to close that gap. That's just going to be the key to our success and moving up in the conference, and this will be a big step this weekend.
Now, you had some strong runs over at the Route 33. With the festival year, we talked about extending out the volume a little bit, and you were able to really, get some solid work in these 3 weeks in between the races. How has that been as far as being able to, put the work in here without having to, back them down any free races?
It's been huge, and being able to get out to the golf course and having the venue, so close to the school, to be able to get the ups and downs and the fartleks and the race simulation style workouts, it's been tremendous for the group. And I think that the workouts adding in the hills, and not just the interval days, because I know that some of the team, some of their skill set, they handle better on interval days. And I think that the Tuesdays that we've been out on the golf course, it's nice to kind of see the spread in more of an up and down format. And that really helps me as a coach figure out where we're going to be and how we're going to plan to attack in the race, which has been great. But yeah, the long year, it can be tiring at some points, but I think that we're at a good point, and no one feels like they've used everything they've gotten yet. And I think that it's a much different in terms of how you make the schedule and how you make the training, but they're handling it very well. Much more advanced to where they were this time last year.
What kind of field you looking at up there this week at CMU?
I don't have the complete list of teams that we had. Unfortunately, we won't see as many conference schools as we've seen in the past. Westlip was there last year, but Carnegie's been ranked in the top 25. In Division III. They have a great program, great coach, and great history there. But we should see a lot of the Western PA schools, and unfortunately, no one in our conference. But I just love the course up there. It's got some ups and downs, got some park style running. It almost feels like with the municipal park, it almost feels like you're kind of, at a festival or something. Yeah. So it's a really cool, kind of laxed environment, but once the gun goes off, we overtake the park. So it's a really cool experience, and I'm excited to get back up there.
Yeah. What, coming off, I know Bryce Gerald had that tremendous run over there at the Route 33, and he's been, in good rhythm. Feel like he's going to be able to build on that and go toe-to-toe with some of these top runners at this event?
Yeah, absolutely. This is where he kind of turned the page last year and finally got into the 26s. And to be fair, throughout his career, he hadn't raced, a full, and still hasn't, a full 8K on what would you call a flat and fast course. He still hasn't. And I think that, he's going to hopefully be in the low 26s, maybe even high 25s on a course like this. You really never know. And then, I'm excited for the full group, not to look ahead too far, but to get to
Lock Haven
coming up.
Yeah.
And, I was a little jealous, looking at,
Paul Short.
Yeah. A lot of the teams went to Paul Short. Some went to Lock Haven 2 weeks ago. Then we had some at Louisville this weekend. So a lot of teams raced on some fast courses this weekend. And hopefully those are some meets we can get to in the future. But I really like still incorporating some of the hills on the course like this because, like I said, the next meet is Lock Haven, which doesn't look a lot like our conference course. So trying to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, but it looks good, I think, doing something that wouldn't be as hilly, 2 weeks prior. And I like the way you set that up. You mentioned the league and some of the runs up down Paul Short and how many guys, put up some times there between Concord, D&E, and Charleston. The league itself so tough. We've talked about how the depth of the league, and and you're in that. We just had a conversation with Coach Keller with football. There's 7 teams that are 2-2 in the middle.
Yeah.
There's literally a bunch of teams in the middle. If one person really steps up or another team has somebody hurt or falls, it can mean 2 or 3 spots.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about it privately. I think that men's cross country, not to deep dive into all the sports, but I mean, men's cross country has to be one of the most competitive sports in the league right now.
On a national level, absolutely.
On a national level.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really evened out the mix in our region to where it used to be very PSAC heavy, and I think it's a 50-50 split at this point. And even like a West Lib has been ranked in the top 10, and they're not even in that top 3 conversation right now. But yes, I think that the pendulum can swing after the first 3 teams, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think anything can happen. Fairmont's run really well, and that's someone that we beat last year. So that's someone that we have to prepare for. They've raced on some faster courses and thrown down some really good times. Their top runner ran the 25s. So it's crazy how deep it is. And I think that the biggest thing for the group is comparing them to that. Let's see how you can improve. If you have a personal best on that day, that's all we can really ask for.
That's all you can do, yeah.
And last year, looking back at the conference meet, we put 5 in front of Frostburg. We put 5 in front of Frostburg's 5 and 5 in front of Wesleyan's 5. We didn't beat them, but we did what you're supposed to go out there and do. We just have to kind of keep that gap closer together, and that's what we focused on in the workouts.
Yeah, absolutely. And if those ranked teams are consuming a lot of the top 20 spots, you sneak somebody up there, it's huge. That low numbers means so much more, in that terms of going head to head with those teams you're going after.
Yes, and we've as we've talked in the previous weeks, we might be able to run a few more people if the things kind of spin our way at the conference meet. So we're really excited for the championship season, but I think that the next 2 meets are going to be huge confidence boosts for what we can do as far as getting a lower number on TFers and something that they can always go check out and things like that. So I don't know. I'm excited for this latter part of our season. They've been working really hard, girls and guys. It's just tremendous to see how much we've closed the gap, and then workouts that we're doing, specifically the interval workouts that I wouldn't even have dreamed to put on there last year. I'm cutting a lot less reps and cutting a lot less slack than I was this time last year, just because they can handle it and they're ready for it. So, I think that's great.
And a lot of kids came a long way, and I'm excited to see what goes down this weekend. And then, like you said, see what kind of times can be thrown down at Lockhaven. We'll be talking more about that, after this one. But, Coach, appreciate you coming in today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Same here, Coach, and thank all y'all for being with us out there. We'll see you next week on the Coaches Show.